Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. It's a video on daily news and editorial analysis, which I'll be covering from the Hindu and Indian Express. The most important news and editorial of the day that is relevant for both prelims and mains examination perspective of civil services will be discussed in this session. Let's get started with the news topic list. Today is 9th of November. The first important news that is restricted use of herbicide glyphosate. Second, new logo theme website of India G20 presidency. Third, India's first private launch set for made in flight. Fourth, center to set up fodder-centric farmer produce organization, that is FPO. And the last is an editorial, a new teacher. Apart from the news and editorial discussion, at the end of this video, there will be MCQ based questions. These questions will be based on current affairs that will help you for the upcoming prelims examination. So without any further delay, let's get started. And before I begin this session, those of you who are new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful, do not forget to press a like button. Starting the session, the first news that is restricted use of herbicide glyphosate. Something important for General Studies paper 2, that is precisely General Studies paper 3, that is conservation, environmental pollutions, degradation and AIA. This topic is very important for the prelims examination, and even for the mains UPSC can ask you a direct question. In prelims, there's a variation of question that can be asked. So recently, the Union Agriculture Ministry has restricted the use of glyphosate, a widely used herbicide. And this comes even as the Supreme Court in November is about to take a plea seeking a ban on the herbicide tolerant crops, including the transgenic hybrid mustard and cotton. Now, what is glyphosate? अगर glyphosate की बात करें, ये है क्या? And even a question can be directly framed from glyphosate itself for the prelims examination. So it's a herbicide, and it's used to kill weeds, undesirable plants that compete with the crop for the nutrient, water, and sunlight. So herbicide के definitions की बात करें, what is herbicides? It is an agent, usually chemical, for killing or inhibiting मतलब to stop the growth of unwanted plants such as residential or agriculture weed and invasive species. A very important statement. I think most of you must be aware of this. Now, glyphosate की अगर बात करें, it's a broad spectrum herbicide that can control a wide range of weeds and either broader leaf or grass. It inhibits the productions of protein, that is 5-enopyrocrispate 3-phosphate cyanide. This is EPSPS, right? It's a long name. You can take a pause and you can just check it. These names is not that relevant. Even the short form will work for you. That is EPSPS. Now, uses of glyphosate की अगर बात करें, there are 9 areas based on the formulations containing the different concentrations of the chemical registered under this, and this is under the Insecticide Act 1968. They are approved largely on the weed control in the tea garden and for the non-crop areas such as railway track or the playground. So this is basically used to stop or inhibit the productions. The farmer can apply glyphosate on irrigation channel and even bound to use this on weed, making easier for flocks and walk around them. Weeds growing on the bunds and even for the makeover for host of the fungi such as those causing seed bliss disaster in rice. Now, latest measure that is taken by government and the Ministry of Agriculture and Farm Welfare on October 21st has issued a notification stating that the use of glyphosate involve health hazards, risk to human being and animals. So these are some of the repercussions, you could say, the negative consequences or side effect of the fight. Now, it has, however, not been banned. Only it is from the government end. It is restricted to use for specific purposes, and the spraying of the glyphosate, it is derivative, is henceforth only be permitted in the pest control operation and not for any other purposes. Health concern over the glyphosate, क्या क्या health concern है WHO के हिसाब से. If you look into the World Health Organization, Internal National Agencies of Research and Cancer, it says that the classification of the glyphosate is probably carcinogenic to human. There is other research that has to be conducted, but in nutshell, it was concluded that yes, it's a nature is carcinogen. The US Environment Protection Agency, on the other hand, has held that there are no risk to the humankind and even for the human health, and the current uses of glyphosate has no evidence causing the cancer, right? So there are other researches that is taking place. Its finding is based significantly of the most extensive relevant data, right? So accordingly, there are two particular research, one by WHO and another for US Environment Protection Agency. Now, what next for Government of India precisely? The Union Environment Ministry and the Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee, that is GAC, on October 18 has recommended the commercial release of Delhi University GM hybrid mustard, and this crop can also tolerate spraying of the glufosinate ammonia and non-selective herbicide similar to the glyphosate, right? तो ये कुछ advantages हैं और advanced version की GM mustard use की गई है, even developed की गई है by the professors of Delhi University. The GAC is further to seek a call on approving the glyphosate tolerant BT cotton, which legally cultivation is open a secret. Now, all eye in the next Supreme Court judgment, which is scheduled to hear the plea challenging the GAC note for the transgenic hybrid mustard and seeking a ban on all kind of hybrid tolerant crops. So let's see what Supreme Court is coming, because Supreme Court has taken a note. They will be interfering in the matter. After the Supreme Court guideline, a final clarity will be there in the uses of GM mustards and cottons. Now, new logo, theme, websites of India's G20 presidency, something important for General Studies paper 2, that is bilateral regional grouping and agreement involving India and affecting India's interest. So recently, the Prime Minister of India has unveiled the new logo, theme, websites for India G20 presidency via video conferencing. And India is assuming the G20 presidency in December 2022, which will last till November 2023. So this timeline is again important. Now, the presidency that India will occupy will offer a unique opportunity to India in terms of resolving the global agenda and pressing for the international important issues. G20 is a premier forum with international economic corporations, जहाँ पे 85% of जो GDP की contributions है, 75% to the global trade and 2/3 to the world populations. Now, this is an image that was released by the Prime Minister. It's written G20, Bharat, India, Vasudev Kundukam. That is one family, and we care for everyone. One earth, one family, one future. What is the opportunity for India during the presidency of G20? So G20 presidency will have focus on important aspects like the regulations of crypto, right? Cross-border payments, public investment in infrastructure, and renewable energy. Now, the G20 presidency provide a fantastic opportunity for India to shape a global agenda on culture across multiple streams and engagement areas, which include protections and restitutions of cultural property, advancement of agriculture practices and sustainable living, promotion of cultural and creative industries for livelihood, and preservation, disseminations of the culture, living, and technology. Now, climate and clean energy crisis or issues is again something very important that will be a priority for the G20 meeting. Now, talking about the climate finance, clear, strong and positive signals are required, and even for the G20 जो कि इजिप्ट में शेड्यूल होनी है, वहाँ पे भी बात की गई है क्लाइमेट फाइनेंस पे और काफ़ी ज़्यादा गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से जोर है. When India is proactively asking the developed countries to finance the developing countries. Even this was a part of PCC, that is Paris Climate Change, जहाँ पे $100 billion की बात की गई है to develop a corpus fund for the environment financing. Now, in clean energy transition, G20 will need to ensure that there are IMF monetary and the fiscal space which is impacting the fossil fuel revenues for the developing countries and economies. And there's a transition that is required to benefit the opportunity that is created by the clean energy economy. Definitely, India can also take a leverage of that and even potentially can have a proactive role in overcoming the challenges. India's first private launch vehicle all set for maiden flight, something important for General Studies paper 2, that is achievement of India in science and technology, Indianization of technology, and developing of new technology. According to the Hyderabad-based startup, that is Skyroot Aerospace, they have announced that India's first privately developed rocket, that is Vikram, is very, very important for competitive examination, not only for UPSC, for many other competitive examinations, right? It is set for launch the suborbital missions, the 3 payload for numbers 12 to 16. The maiden mission of Skyroot Airspace, named Prump, that is the beginning, will carry two Indian satellite and one foreign customer satellite with a payload. Right, this is what they'll be carrying: two Indian satellite, one foreign payloads, and set to launch from ISRO, that is Indian Space Research Organization launch pad at Sriharikota. Now, with this mission, the Skyroot is sent to become the first private space company in India to launch the rocket into space, leading a new era of space sector, which was opened in 2020 to facilitate the private participation. So, government has opened a triple P model here, a public-private partnership, and even for the private participation, the area was open, and even government wanted to augment the sector and have a state-of-art technology in the sector. Now, about Vikram S rocket. Vikram S rocket is a single stage suborbital launch vehicle that would carry three customers' payload and help text to validate the majority of technology, even for the Vikram series with the space launch vehicles. Chandana and the Skyroot could build the get of like Vikram S rocket mission in such a short time span because of the invaluable support that is getting from ISRO and space, that is Indian National Space Promotions and Authorization Center, which is acting as a commercial arm or wing of the ISRO. Now, for the private satellite missions, ISRO heaviest satellite, that is Mark 3 launch, 36 OneWeb satellite, जो कि recent में मैंने आपके साथ discuss किया. This is something, and again, a game changer situation in India in terms of the space sector. And talking about India's space sector, it has taken a leap, and there's a lot of achievement that India is making in terms of the development, in terms of the progress, in terms of state-of-art technology, and incorporating all such technology which mostly the developed country used to do. The space agency will be launching another fleet of 36 satellites for a company well, and other than that, the space agency has also launched the 4 satellite made by the student itself. Now, there's a fun stat. SpaceKit's Chennai-based aerospace startup will fun stat a 2.5 payload defined by the student, and the US, Singapore, Indonesia, and the suborbital flight on board with the Vikram S. Now, Center to set up fodder-centric farm produce organization, something important for General Studies Paper 2, under the subtopic Government Policies and Intervention for the Development of Various Sectors and Issues Arising from a Design and Implementations. So 2 years after the central government proposed the promotions of the fodder-centric farm produce organization to address the fodder deficit, the government has designated the National Dairy Development Board for the implementation agency, setting up a target for 100 such FPUs. According to the Union Ministry for Agriculture and Farm Welfare, the competent authority in the Department of Agriculture and the Farm Welfare has approved the NDDB. Right? ये NDDB क्या है? This is basically the National Dairy Development Board for implementing the entire process. तो एक dedicated body बनाई गई है नेशनल डेयरी डेवलपमेंट बोर्ड की, जो इसे पूरी इंप्लीमेंट करेगी, रेगुलेट करेगी और मॉनिटर करेगी. राइट. NADB has been tasked with 100 FPU, that is farm produce organizations, for the year 2023 within the contours of the specific guideline. Now, fodder situation in country की अगर बात करें, on October 6, Animal Husbandry Secretary ने बताया that the meeting to take stock of the fodder situation in our country with states has informed about the center for the prices of the dry fodder, which significantly has a higher compared to the last year. Even because of the supply chain disruption and many other problems, the price has hiked. The meeting was attended by the senior government officers, which include the Ministry of Agriculture and even the representative from 14 states. So these are the states from where the representation was made, which include Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Punjab, Haryana, Madhya Pradesh, West Bengal, Jharkhand, Bihar, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Uttar Pradesh, and Himachal Pradesh. The idea of setting up a fodder-centric FPO was first mooted by the Minister of Fisheries, Animal Husbandries and Dairy in 2020 with aim to address the fodder deficit situation in our country. जो problem है fodder deficit की, उसको overcome कैसे किया जाए, उसके लिए ये idea को conceptualize किया गया. Now, moving to the editorial of the day, the new teacher, something important for General Studies Paper 2, that is issues related to development and management of education and human resources. Now, what I'll be discussing in this editorial was talking about the theme. The editorial focuses upon the education and youth. First, we'll look into the ground reality of this editorial, what the editor wanted to convey, the vocational learning opportunities, a vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat, and the way ahead. Now, India continues to contribute the largest number of qualified engineers and technologists to the global workforce even today. And it is the forefront of the new technology that will soon become a cardinal of innovations. वेंचर्स की अगर बात करें जो इंडिया के एंटरप्रेन्योर्स हैं आर ऑलरेडी मेकिंग अ मार्क इन द ग्लोबल इकोनॉमी and India continues to contribute the largest number of qualified engineers, technologists, and even the global work for today. Even if you see many multi companies, MNC companies, and even the IT giants company are being headed by Indian origin. Now, to the global vanguards, our youth needs to untrack themselves from casteism, inequality, hatred, discriminations, and even remain the contemporary social fabric. Now, what is the ground reality in this regard? Many children still do not have access to quality educations, and to harness this and their talent, their inherent talent and abilities, the government and even the stakeholders, the teachers, the faculty members need to put their potential. That there's need to ensure that our children is growing up in villages, the tier 2 and 3 cities, did not lag behind the same access opportunities with their counterparts in the urban areas. Vocational learning opportunities, the government is a proactive measures must provide with the contemporary and relevant vocational learning opportunities to the children will motivate them to innovate. Experiential learning is facilitated through the workforce and infrastructure expectations will provide sensory and medical garden learning centers and intervention. Research and product based learning inculcate the essential life skill. Integrated learning is implemented by incorporating art, music, dance, drama, and curriculums transfers. Basically, these are some of the parts that will include in terms of the vocational learning so that more outcome is oriented. Now, the vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat is again an important one. The vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat is shaped the full furnished even India's vision of developing and basically a workforce, a skilled workforce which is working towards the development of our country. In that regard, Atal Tinker Lab, which is building the scientists to design mobile AI applications, drone technology, automated program, robotics, and 3D design is being developed. A pool of skilled worker is being developed. Technological integration learning is enabled through Wi-Fi enabled zones, high-tech interactive panels, digital library, and Microsoft educational tools. Now, if you look into the conclusion part of this editorial, definitely educators play a very important role because they are someone who is acting as a guiding factor, a torchlight bearer for the individual and even for the nation building today is more than ever we have need to provide the learning opportunities to our students so that we just do not have educate them but also to skill them. We can go longer and even don't the role of the knowledge providers rather than the writing the paradigm conventional curriculums and even imbibe learning with vocational and skill development opportunities. So this is how the things can be done. The teachers, the education can play a very important role and government need to ensure with a policy which is actually working for skilling of our youth. Now, moving to the MCQ questions of the day, before I proceed, just to tell you the answers of yesterday questions. For first questions, the correct option is C. For second question, the correct option is C again. Today's MCQ for practice, आपको बताना है Maritime India Summit 2021 के बारे में because UPSC is asking questions from a year back also. It focuses on upgradations of infrastructure. India aims to strengthen the vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat. Denmark is a partner country for 3-day summit. Second question of the day, Swachh Sarthi Fellowship. It's the Government of India, Waste to Wealth missions launched by the Swachh Sarthi Fellowship. The Waste to Wealth mission, one of the 9th mission of the Prime Minister Science, Technology, Innovation Advisory Council. So do check it out for the correct option. This type of question might be relevant for the upcoming prelims examination. This was all about for the daily news and editorial analysis, followed by the MCQ questions. If you have any other concern, you can let me know. I'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.